I'm Anthony Forrest, the president of Steel Cod, and I'm here with John Beresford, our VP of Sales, ready to discuss all things appliances. All right, John, the internet has a question about their new washing machine that they're excited about. That they put down some money down. It's been installed. They're excited. Their clothes are about to be cleaner. And then it reaches the spin side, and apparently the house is taking off. This thing gets loud, gets aggressive. The question is like, something wrong? Feels awfully aggressive here. Is it time to panic? Did they make the wrong move with this laundry? Why is it so loud during the spin cycle?
Yeah, no, it is funny. It's that this is still a thing out there, but it is because I guess it just doesn't get explained all that properly, right? It's one of the most common post-install panic calls in laundry today. And I get it because, if you're just walking into the situation without any kind of prior knowledge, it actually feels insane, right? I mean, the washer is literally at this point today, they're whisper quiet, right? During the wash, and you're thinking, "Hey, technology, awesome," right? And then it hits the spin cycle and it sounds, to your point, like something's trying to take flight in your basement, right? Or even on your second floor. And the human brain at that point does what it always does, right? And it compares to the last thing that it remembers, which is my old one didn't do this, right? So something must be wrong. But the truth is, your old one didn't do it because it couldn't do this, right? I mean, modern washers are designed to pull more water out of your clothes before the dryer even gets involved. And that means that we're dealing with higher RPMs, right? Revolutions per minute. Higher RPM means exponentially higher force, right? You can't have one without the other. And when the force goes up, the tolerance for really sloppiness, I would call it, goes down in the load and in the install and on the floor that it might be sitting on, all of those types of things, right? So the right question in this scenario isn't, is my washer loud? The right question really is it loud because it's doing its job, or is it loud because something is off, right? And again, faster spin equals more extraction. That's the reason why it spins at the rate that it does. And more extraction, the reason why they do that is means less dryer time, which is better for fabric care overall, right? But the cost of that, again, like we talked about, is force, right? Centrifugal force, it's not linear by any means, right? It scales with speed, right? So if your old washer spun at 900 RPMs and the new one is spinning at, let's say, 1200 RPMs, even more with some of these modern ones, I mean, you don't get a little more. I know those numbers sound close in proximity, but when you're talking about revolutions per minute, you just got a gigantic jump in force, right? And, force can really expose a lot of weaknesses in the installation or the home itself, right? On top of that. So, on top of that, older machines were really, I mean, if you think about it, they were just these heavy steel blocks, if nothing else, right? Modern machines use suspension and control logic and all of these things instead of just overwhelming the machine with just brute weight, right? A lighter cabinet plus a higher force equals, I don't know, what, a more audible event. I mean, to put it lightly, right?
Right.
And then the two biggest multipliers there are installation and leveling, and then your own flooring structure within the home. If it's going on second floor versus an unleveled basement, whatever it is. And if either one of those things is off, the loud spin that you were getting anyway without knowing it is going to get a hell of a lot louder really fast. And look, I mean, I try to give you the short version of that whole thing, but it's probably worth exploring even a little bit more to that.
So let's go a little deeper. We talked a lot about the high spin speeds, and that's the obvious trigger for this new sound. But insulation and leveling is an interesting one because, like you said, so many times it's in basements, but we're seeing it more often on first floor and second floor, and so
Mhm.
this is playing a bigger role now, where installation just used to be put on the concrete floor and we're good to go. But that's not the truth in most houses are this way, especially not new homes. So how does insulation and leveling play a role in the sound we're hearing?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the biggest factor, right? And I would think that you probably agree with that. Most of the time, loud spin is not a washer problem. It can very much be a setup problem. And, you know, I'll say this pretty bluntly, right? Mostly level is not level. Okay. We talk about tolerances with these machines all the time. Like the good enough story that everybody used to be able to live by when it was leveling and adjusting appliances, you can't do it anymore, right? A front load washer has to be dead level to the left and the right. It has to be dead level to the front and the back. All 4 feet need to be planted not only on the ground, but with equal pressure, locked out so the feet can't walk out of adjustment as these things start to spin. It's massively important, and that's why when we talk about the delivery front, it's like who's doing the install all the time, right? We talk about drivers, not just these box stores that just drop boxes off on your home and say good luck. There's so much more to the story, right? And you say, what's the big deal? I can drag this in and put it on the ground. No, you don't know how to level these things appropriately so these things actually work, right? Even if there's a slight rock in the machine, the cabinet really at that point becomes a drum, right? And the floor becomes the amplifier, and you know, on top of that, I mean, let's just talk about it. Shipping bolt, right? If a front loader's shipping bolts weren't fully removed, and there's a difference between removed and fully removed, the machine can't float correctly on its suspension. It's going to feel like this and I've seen it happen way too many times. It feels like this violent mechanical failure is happening because you're locking out the tub while trying to tell it to spin at 1200 RPM at the same time. So, you know, the first diagnostic question is never going to be like, oh, well, geez, what brand is it? Is it truly leveled? Do all 4 feet make contact with the same amount of pressure? Are the feet locked? Were the shipping bolts removed? Is it sitting on a stable surface, right? Not some flex tray or uneven tile in your bathroom downstairs or anything like that. This is why I would say that all the great retailers that are out there win with their delivery, and people should pay whatever they charge for delivery, right? Because these guys are essential to preventing bad installs, and these bad installs are what prevent really brand product stories to turn into brand product stories, right? I mean, the brand isn't bad. They're not doing anything wrong. It was installed improperly, and now the customer is feeling the brunt of what a bad install can actually feel like.
So we've mentioned it a couple times, and that is, of course, the flooring structure. If you're on the concrete floor, obviously that helps a ton
Yeah.
with this. But we're seeing it on first floors and the second floors quite a bit, and that can play a role, especially in an older home.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, because now we're talking about just bad physics, right? I mean, if I'm on a concrete slab, to your point, the vibration energy dies out pretty quick there. But if I'm on like a wood subfloor or something like that, that's not only going to spread, it's going to resonate, right? So the truth is, upstairs laundry, it isn't just upstairs, right? It's kind of just a different structural and environment altogether. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be wary of the expectations, right? Is wood wood framing flexes at all times. It's supposed to, right? In these joists that are out there, they have bounce to them, and that bounce can hit resonance with the washer's spin frequency, right? Meaning that the floor can actually become part of the system in some of these cases. So now the customer's saying, well, the washer is shaking the whole house. But what's actually happening is the washer is exciting the floor underneath it, almost like a speaker, right? And that's why two identical machines can feel totally different depending upon where they're installed. And it's why upstairs installations just need a whole heck of a lot of extra discipline, right? I mean, we are talking perfect leveling at this point, right? Stable pedestal installation, if you're using those. Sometimes you actually do need to go the extra mile with those vibration pads that are out there, right? And not as like a band-aid, but really as just a full-scale dampening tool. Sometimes you need that, and just again, going back to realistic expectations, upstairs spin will always be more noticeable than, spinning on a slab downstairs. And that's why you get a lot of complaints when customers move their machines, right? They finally got that laundry room upstairs that's closer to the bedrooms and they thought it was a great idea. And now the house is going crazy on these spin cycles and they think something's wrong with the machine. And it's like it ran for years downstairs, fine, but now it's upstairs and now it's shaking the whole house. Well, this is why. So there's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration.
So this one is an interesting one to me because, let's say the install's perfect. You have a high quality machine, flooring is all good to go. And sometimes not the cycle, sometimes the load is the reason you're
Oh
getting
yeah.
this noise. And load imbalance is definitely a thing. And people want to put big, huge things in there. You got to make sure that you're not getting some off center weight. So how does load imbalance affect the sound?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and when we talk about load imbalances, it's at every level, right? It's not just towels and comforters and all those kind of things. Those are imbalance factories. We know it's going to happen in all of those. But really, it's anytime you overload a machine with these larger capacity machines that are out there now, it's pretty much every load that somebody's going to do because they just stuff these things, right? We always talk about with laundry, there's no rules. It's like Thunderdome when they get home. You tell them all these nice things and it's like, hey, watch out for this and use this sparingly and all this. And they say, yeah, screw you. I'm stuff in this thing when I get home, right? And the problem with that is that, you're getting they're absorbing water unevenly, right? So that means that they're going to clump up and then they're going to shift. And at this high spin, that clump that you created in there is like a giant wrecking ball, right? So the machine does what it's supposed to do, right? It detects that imbalance. It tries to redistribute it in some way. It starts to ramp up and then it backs off because it can't stabilize. And then it's going to try again. That's how the machines work. They're programmed to operate that way. And that's why it seems so loud, right? In that acceleration phase that it's trying to go through feels so violent, but it was you that caused the problem by overloading the machine and creating that imbalance. And, the key point that people miss all the time is that these water reduction strategies in these washing machines can make really loud, I don't know, what distribution behavior, much more sensitive, right? I mean, there's less water that's floating in the load, which means the washer itself is going to rely much more heavily on these tumbling dynamics to try to redistribute everything. So, if the user is the type that's going to, do a giant comforter all by itself or a multiple bath mats with like in with a mixed load or, you know, a bunch of towels and that type of thing. They're basically creating a worst case scenario for these machines. And, it's not a machine defect at that point. It's literally physics and user behavior not really lining up.
So, I mean, we talked a lot about the reasoning behind it, and it all makes a lot of sense, especially if you've experienced it. But there's going to be some times where it might not be normal, where it's not where. So, the customer has accepted this is going to be loud, but there's some times where maybe they should be like, this should deserves a service call. How do we compare normal and not normal?
Yeah, it's a good question. I would tell you that, when normal things to expect is like if there's this loud whooshing sound or almost like a rushing air sound, that's very normal. In a full spin, that's going to happen. Don't worry about that. If you get thumps every so often, just so you know, that's actually your machine redistributing the load inside and just trying to smooth out the operation. Very normal. Okay. Noticeable vibration, right? That becomes very steady and very controlled. So I'll throw it in that box, right? It should be steadied and controlled when you hear it. But there should be a lot of vibration with these things with the way that they're spinning at this point, which means that if you're getting some level of mild floor shake, I would say if it's in the upstairs, it's pretty normal at this point. You know, if you're getting any kind of walking of the machine, and for those that aren't industry insiders, that means where the machine actually moves out of place. So if half inch here or there, that's pretty normal. But anything over that, I mean, if it's moving an inch or more in any one or two directions, then we've probably got an imbalance somewhere with leveling, flooring, something like that, right? Continuous violent shaking that really you want to look for the ones that aren't really stable, right? It's trying to find stability and it can't find it. As we talk about with appliances all the time, any kind of grinding or scraping or metal on metal noises, never normal. You know, repeated imbalance errors, if you're getting them after multiple loads and they just keep kind of popping up, even if the machine finishes what it's doing, that's something to worry about. And then obviously, if you're getting any kind of water leak or standing water leak, those are obviously that's not really what we're talking about here, but that's something that you want to be sure of too. You know, if it's loud but it's controlled, it's fine. Okay. But if it's loud or you feel like it's really kind of escalating, um, more often than not, you have a problem, but it doesn't mean that you have a mechanical issue. You're probably dealing with an install or a floor or a load problem before anything else.
So let's kind of put this all together for salespeople here because, obviously we want to avoid, kind of fear mongering that this potential here, but you
Oh,
can't
for
let the
sure.
customer walk out without not talking about this at all because you're going to get that call or the service department is going to get that call. And that's your fault that they got that call. So what sort of things do you recommend salespeople present the customer with up front when they're leaving with a new washer?
So what I always like to do, especially with laundry customers, like one-off laundry customers, because I knew that they were about to get paid a delivery charge that they wouldn't probably be charged other places, or at least maybe not as much, is I would always set the expectation by saying, listen, you're buying significantly higher extraction, and it's a good things for the for the reason that we talked about before. But it also means that it's going to spin at a higher rate. And a higher spin means that it's going to be more force. And more force means that the installation and the flooring that you're going to put this on matter a hell of a lot more than any machine that you've ever bought before. That's really what I would talk about, right? And then you're talking practical floor education at that point, right? Upstairs installs are always going to feel a little bit more noticeable. And just use the word noticeable. That's fine. As long as they know, all right, well, it's doing that, but it's pretty steady, then they'll probably, be realistic about the expectations there, right? You have to say little things like, hey, leveling in this case is not optional. Don't try to do it yourself. There's a specific way that this needs to work in order to perform well for you, right? Comforters and towels and those heavy loads are going to trigger redistribution behavior. Get comfortable with some level of that just to kind of set that expectation. And then, you're dealing with a great. I would always reinforce it with the upside, right? You're dealing with a great machine that's going to allow for faster drying time, lower drying stress over the course of time, and better fabric care overall, right? I mean, that's really complete expectation setting, and use them where you need to, depending upon the customer that's in front of you. It's going to prevent panic calls, and it's going to protect the brands and your retailer and yourself as a whole, right? But the big part is letting them understand about higher extraction and that installation in flooring are going to be really important variables that you don't want to get wrong.
We drop a new episode every day of the week, including weekends. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.